man, I wish my swing was a little bit more like Hogan's. I mean, he was maybe the greatest ball striker of all time, and myself and most of you watching the average golfer, well, you don't have to swing exactly like Hogan. It would be to your benefit to do several things more like Hogan. Call it a number line. Ben Hogan's is 10. He's the best Ben Hogan of all time. Maybe I'm about a 4 or a 5. Some people watching are a 2 or a 3. If you could just do a few more things more like Ben Hogan did, you're going to see an amazing uptick in the quality of your shots. So right after this, let's cover Hogan's 5 new lessons. Stay tuned. So many of you watching this video have looked or even memorized all of Hogan's book, 5 Lessons. These are what I would consider 5 new lessons that Hogan doesn't talk about in the book, but yet he displays, and what I find is these might even be more helpful to the average golfer, because this is generally where the average golfer's swing goes wrong. First one being, Hogan, you can see in this replay I'm showing in the corner, is that when he takes the club back, his butt actually pushes back away from the ball, and he maintains this angle through the impact zone. So one thing that is opposite of what most golfers do, which is to start to stand up as they reach the top of their swing, and then stand up even more coming down. Well, Hogan did the opposite of that. So you'd really like to move as far as you can down the Hogan number line when it comes to this. So you'd be maintaining the pressure on the chair, going back, and then lifting it going through. Now notice I finished that swing still holding the chair legs off the ground about 1 inch. So it's increased the pressure, going back almost to the point of lifting both chair legs off the ground. You can see how Hogan would have been lifting this chair 2 or 3 inches. So lift slightly, then lift some more. Hold it off the ground until the end, just like that. You can do this exercise at home with a wall. You can do it on the range with your head covers behind you, but definitely learn to maintain or even increase the rump line going through impact. Now, a second lesson that Hogan doesn't really talk about in his book too much, a little bit, and that's about the glass plane, that he was well underneath the glass that rested on his shoulders. You don't have to be as low as Hogan, but that rule is still pretty good, that you don't ever want to lift your arms, and that's the one thing that Hogan didn't do. He stayed in that flat, rounded position at the top. Well, the average golfer is on the other end of the spectrum. Remember the number line. Hogan's like a 10 in terms of flat. The average guy on tour is a 7 or an 8. The average golfer at home, who goes back this way and then lifts the arms steep and over the top, he's a 1 or a 2. We just got to move down that number line a little bit. So while I'm still here and I've got the chair handy, I've put my basket of balls 24 inches behind the ball on the target line. And that'll just make sure, keep me honest, so I cannot come over the top. So I'm just going to miss the bucket, lift the chair. Miss the bucket, lift the chair. If you don't want to use the bucket, which is probably a bad idea, you want to use a water bottle, or even the bottom corner of your bag you could set up strategically to whack the bag slightly with the toe of the club if you would accidentally come over the top. Often talked about on YouTube is getting the club into a shallow slot position. Now, this is more than just one thing, but most instructors on YouTube are simply going to talk about how the elbow needs to do this action, this external rotation action, so that it can get in front of the pocket. Now, unfortunately, that's only one of 4 ways that you're going to get the club into the shallow slot. You've got to have some other fundamentals working for you also. Well, we've already covered 2 of them. So if you can keep the butt back and approach the ball from the inside, you're already in good shape. Now the third one being, yes, we can do a little bit of this rock skipping action where your elbow goes out and in and extends, then it does help the club shallow. But you can get the club plenty shallow without it if you have the other three. So we have one, butt stays back. You keep the original bow at address intact, or even increase it as you come into the ball. Number two, you attack the ball from the inside. Number three, external rotation. And number four, we've got to get the handle exiting left like Hogan. So that takes us right into also unnamed lesson number 4 that Hogan doesn't really talk about in his book 5 Lessons. And that is, once we're in this nice shallow position, feeling like we're attacking from the inside, is now exit, belly button level, left, like this. You cannot exit this way and expect the club to lay down for you. It just won't. It's working against the forces at that point. What we want, if we get this handle exiting left, is the handle is going to go out instead of down, and the shaft center of mass or center of gravity is going to fall in line with the direction of the handle's pull, and it's going to shallow quite nicely. So if I can concentrate on those things, you're going to see my shaft of my club on this swing drop all the way down to ride my right forearm in the slot. Let's see if I can do it. Now that slow-mo replay shows me I did a pretty good job of getting the club shaft to shallow, kind of like this photo I'm putting up of Lee Trevino, who is also shallow in the slot like Hogan. You can see I didn't really even focus that much on that rock skipping motion. I was just trying to keep the forward bend, feel like I'm attacking the ball from the inside, and then exit back around belly button level when the handle disappears, like that. One last important lesson that Hogan really never mentions in his book 5 Lessons is the way that the knee and the thigh and the ankle of the right foot should be working. When I teach people, I see a lot of people they do this action. They drive the right foot up onto the toe and they drive the thigh perpendicular to the target line, where Hogan, he drove his to either 12:30 or maybe 1 o'clock at the most, rather than 3 o'clock. So if the target's 12, straight in front of me would be 3. We want the thigh to drive this way, just right of the target line, but not by more than an hour, like that. Now, how are you going to do that? Well, the key is going to be, again, in the butt, maintaining or increasing its distance backwards, while the right ankle needs to do a rolling in motion this way. This is going to help position the thigh and the knee, allow the torso to go around. You're going to give it just a little bit of a heel lift as well. And when you can move like that, you're going to make your body really turn open nicely, which Hogan was very much open at impact. Very much like a Hogan strike there. Lots of ball compression and just simply tracking straight down the target line. So there you go. There's 5 new lessons that Hogan doesn't really talk about that much on how to do them in his book 5 Lessons. I would suggest you figure out which one of these categories you're furthest away from Hogan on the number line and start to master that one motion, whether it's the butt back, which goes together nicely with the thigh and the foot motion all together, helps to unwind the torso. Or maybe it's the shallowing move, maybe it's the not coming over the top move and breaking the glass like Hogan urged us not to. But whatever it is, pick that one that you're furthest away, master it, and then go back and get another one. All right, I know I'm never going to swing exactly like Hogan, probably never as well as Hogan, but I'm going to go back to work on moving my own swing simply further down the number line towards what Hogan did. And I know that my shots are going to go longer and straighter soon. Hey, thanks so much for watching. I'm Steve, and as usual, I'll either see you in the next video or I'll see you longer and straighter down the fairway. Everybody take good care.